There were times I remember having to pull money out of, our retirement savings to cover payroll. We weren't sleeping, we were stressed, we didn't know where to turn, and it was so stressful, Michael. It was not a good scenario. And I remember being on a Friday call with you when we first joined and just breaking down.
Hmm.
You're listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with your host, Michael Palmer. Listen each week as inspiring guests share their secrets of success to help you increase your confidence, work smarter, and build a business you love. This episode of The Successful Bookkeeper is brought to you by PureBookkeeping.com, the proven system to grow your bookkeeping business.
Welcome back to the Successful Bookkeeper podcast. I'm your host, Michael Palmer, and today's show is going to be, I would say, absolutely fabulous because one of my favorite guests is returning, prominent Canadian e-commerce bookkeeping expert and co-founder of Financially Bookkeeping Solutions, Teresa Slack. Welcome back to the show. And $1 million bookkeeper, I would say.
Well, thank you, Michael. It's fabulous to be here. I love having these chats with you.
Yeah, I do as well. It's always great to connect and check in with you. And then also it's such a privilege for our listener to get some learning from you. And you always bring so many gold nuggets to the show. So thank you for that over the years. And today I will almost guarantee, not almost, how about I will guarantee it'll be another session packed with lots of great stuff. And we're talking about pricing. So now I will say for the listener, if this is your first time listening or you've just arrived, there's lots of other episodes. Just go and search for Teresa and recommend you listen to all of them. But maybe a quick snapshot for those who are just joining us new, Teresa, and then we're going to get started out with, when you started your bookkeeping and your journey with pricing.
Sure, absolutely. So, hi, Michael and listeners. My name's Teresa, and my sister, Connie, and I founded Financially Bookkeeping back in September 2014. And we had lots of struggles, which if you go back and listen to all the February sessions, you can hear the entire story of our journey from broke and failing to $1 million a year firm, which ended in us recently selling our firm. And we now work as consultants helping the new owners as well. I'm a coach and a consultant for bookkeepers to help them build and grow the business of their dreams. And I work with the Value Pricing Academy. I'm very passionate about pricing because the two pieces that really turned us from completely broken failing were systems through the pure bookkeeping program and pricing, which was through the Value Price Academy. It was those two things that allowed us to build that $1 million a year firm and all the things that went with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what a journey as well. So those are the February episodes. I think we broke it into 4 parts. And so February 26th, go back and listen to those. Now, when you first started your bookkeeping business, what fears or beliefs did you have around pricing your services?
Yeah. Connie and I really struggled with that. Back when we originally started the firm, we were charging $18 per hour. And that was because that's the price that Connie had been charging a couple of clients that she had, where she had a job and was, doing part-time bookkeeping on the side, and she was charging $18 an hour. So when we started Financially, we just did the same. We charged 18. And of course, that was not sustainable. But we quickly realized, actually, Michael, it was the Thrive conference in 2016 when I met you. And I also attended a session by Mark on value pricing. And we got so excited about value pricing. We went home and we thought we implemented it, but what we had done was fixed pricing, We come up with packages. We had an entry, a full and a premium offering, and we put a price to it, and we met with our clients, and they loved it because they were no longer paying that hourly fee and they didn't know what they were going to pay. But because of our mindset, we had set those prices at like $200 a month, $250 a month, $300. And Connie and I really did believe that that was all businesses would pay for bookkeeping. We didn't have the confidence and the belief in the value of bookkeeping back then. And we were terrified to raise our prices. Like, we were sure that if we raised our prices, we would lose all of our clients. That was sort of the mindset and the belief that we were in back at that time. It was not good.
Yeah, those were trying times.
Yeah.
And going through that, what was that? That was, there's an impact to this and being in that place for you. What was the impact?
Yeah. So what happened was we did grow really quickly. We did. And, we had gotten to about 30 bookkeeping clients. We had about 100 or so tax clients and about 40 training and consulting clients. So we were really busy. And I was out there attending networking events and speaking and doing all the things that I do to kind of generate potential clients. And there was no way that we could manage it. I couldn't. So we hired 3 part-time bookkeepers. We set their hourly rate of pay, and we thought that that was going to solve our problem. Michael, it actually made it worse. Because of that shift to those flat rates of like 200, 250, 300, what happened was our bookkeepers were being paid by the hour. And we were charging our clients a flat fee of, let's say, $250. And the team members, because we had not met up with pure bookkeeping yet, we didn't have any systems. So those 3 bookkeepers, we were constantly training them again, and they kept making mistakes, and they kept doing the work wrong, and they missed payrolls. All kinds of bad things were happening. And what we found is the team was taking way longer to do the work than it would have taken me or Connie. So a small client that might have taken me 3 hours was taking the team 5, 8, 10 hours. We were paying them hourly, but our clients were paying $250. There were times when we were paying the bookkeepers more than what the client was paying us. We were broke, Michael. Connie and I did not get paid for a very long time. We were living out of savings, and, it was not good. There were times I remember having to pull money out of, our retirement savings to cover payroll. We weren't sleeping. We were stressed. We didn't know where to turn. And it was so stressful, Michael. It was not a good scenario. And I remember being on a Friday call with you when we first joined and just breaking down.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Call, and it was you were confronted by so many different things going through all of this, but it's one that I would imagine so many people make these mistakes right from the start, like just, figuring out pricing, what am I going to charge hourly? Everybody's talking about fixed pricing. That sounds good. Let's do that. And really, the story that you've just told us is exactly that journey. That journey still happens. We have listeners right now doing that in themselves. What was it? I mean, you had a transformation. You saw something different. Like what led to that?
Well, I think what happened for us is we were in the middle of that stress, that brokenness, that the team falling apart and doing things wrong and pulling money out to try and cover payroll. That is actually at the exact point that we attended that QuickBooks Thrive conference in Toronto, and we met you and learned all about pure bookkeeping, and we met Mark Wickersham and learned about value pricing. And we went back and we tried to do some of these things ourselves. We did. We started watching free content that was being put out from both areas that we could, and we tried to do it. And we did get a little bit better, but we still were not profitable, and we just couldn't wrangle it. We couldn't shift our mindset. I remember sitting in so many sessions and webinars that said, change your mindset, shift your mindset. And I remember thinking to myself, well, that's great. Well, how do I do that? Right? And when we met you and we met Mark and we started to try and listen to some of the content that was being offered, it started to help us get a little bit braver. And I remember sitting down with Connie, and we had a real heart to heart and said, okay, are we shutting this thing down? Do we just go get jobs? Because this is not working. This is not sustainable. We can't work like this. Or do we do the brave and hard thing, which is what we did? We let our staff go, went back to Connie and I. We joined the pure bookkeeping system, and we joined the Value Pricing Academy. And it was through really investing the time and energy into making those shifts. So it was down to close it down or do something that was so outside of our comfort zone and very scary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the Mark Wickersham, we've talked lots about the pure bookkeeping and having systems in previous podcasts, but we're working with Mark. And it's an interesting point about this, the way, how does anyone shift a mindset? Right. And it's amazing over my lifespan, just my own mindset, seeing others, now seeing my kids, where they're growing up and, they see the world a certain way. And then next day it's like something happens or this happens, it shifts. It's a trajectory. And I don't know that there's any way to speed that up guaranteed, but we know that, and I've seen when you surround yourself with people who are going in a similar direction and encouraging each other, that is an accelerator for getting a mind shift changed. And you really are the people you surround yourself with. You become who you surround yourself with. And so that was a big one for you with Pure. You surrounded yourself with other bookkeeping business owners that wanted to be great and build businesses that they loved and did great work and all that good stuff. And then with Mark, you joined another community there that these are people that are wanting to master pricing and get that right in their business.
Yeah.
And so, but everybody starts there with the free stuff. How far did you get with the free stuff before you said, look, let's just go get this. Let's go just get this done right.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get very far, but we did improve, right, with the free stuff. And I think the improvement was more around bravery and around mindset and hearing from coaches like Mark, like you, right? And listening to that and taking that in and hearing other bookkeepers and hearing successful bookkeepers that have made it really helped us to get brave enough and start shifting our mindset enough that we would do something really scary, like fire our staff, you make a large investment that we didn't have the money for. We pulled it from personal to do it, but we had the belief that we had found the right communities, right? The right group of people, the right coaches who could take us where we knew we wanted to go. We certainly knew how to do bookkeeping. Connie and I both, when we started Financially, had over 35 years experience in bookkeeping. That was not the problem. But learning how to actually grow a profitable, successful bookkeeping business as an actual business was something entirely different. And we needed coaching. We needed help. And we got the help we needed.
Wow. It is, I think, a great place to start, though. Like, people, when they see the content, and that would be the first invitation, as I'm sure you have lots of resources you can point our listener to that helped you along the way in this pricing journey, that they can go, and those links will be in the show notes for sure. We'll get them from you.
Yeah, for sure.
Now you're along the ride as well with Connie, your sister, and Did she come along the same rate? Was there any resistance there? I spoke mostly with you
Mm.
way back then, but I'd love to hear that story and how she potentially was right there, or maybe supported you, or how that went. I know you
Yeah.
never fight, so
Ah,
that's the
we are
that's
sisters,
the
so yes, we
sisters
do.
that yeah. What's that?
Yeah, we do fight sometimes, but I think, one of the things that Connie and I did a little bit differently, and I think this can work for non-siblings as well, is we clearly defined our lane. My role in Financially, sales, marketing, pricing, bringing in clients, doing all of the front end. That was my major role. And of course, back then I was also a bookkeeper, so I had a group of clients and I was doing all the stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Connie's role was more production, more deep bookkeeping, like the really hard stuff we would give to Connie, and more inventory related stuff would go to Connie. And when it came to implementing systems, we did do that together, but it was me who was attending most of the training. So
Mm-hmm.
I would have to impart that to Connie. And, did it slow things down? Yeah, it would have been better if we both could have been at all of the things, but we also needed to get the client work done. We had let go of our staff, and so it was a bit of a balancing act, but I did find that, I'd have to convince Connie that this is the right way to to do things, because she hadn't come to this sessions. The great thing is she listened and she said, "Okay, yeah, let's do it." Right? She didn't really fight me on that stuff. She wanted to learn, wanted to make it better. And when it came to implementing all of our systems, we did that side by side, and we were both fully committed to making it work.
Mm-hmm.
The pricing was more me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look at all your learnings along the way and the way you ended up pricing, what would be the steps that you would recommend to and maybe because really it's like, hey, I've been there, I've done it. You're sitting in a position right now where you can pretty confidently say, this is the way you do it. And it's not like you're going to tell them all the secrets here, because that's going to take
This would
months,
be a
right?
long
It'd be a really long conversation, and we'd run out of recording tape, right? The infinite amount of
yeah.
recording we can do on the internet. But before we do that,
Mm.
just a reminder: you built $1 million firm.
Mhm.
Big piece of that was because you got pricing figured out,
Yes.
and probably the biggest piece, because if you have that figured out, that counts for a lot of mistakes along the way, and challenges and tribulations and all the other, making bad hires, and, maybe not having systems fully figured out. Pricing carries a lot of solutions to all of that, and
Yeah.
buys you time, buys you air in your scuba diving
Exactly.
tank.
Exactly.
So that's where we're sort of standing. You're standing in this place now where you've done it, you figured it out, you made lots of mistakes.
Mhm.
Someone's listening right now. They're asking, okay, I want to get this right. What's the
Mhm.
what's the fastest, most direct route to figuring out your pricing?
If I'm allowed to say, join the Value Price Academy.
You are allowed to say that. That's what
Because
you're the expert.
it has everything we needed. Like when you're thinking about, okay, I want to do this right, there are some steps. You need systems. You need to handle certain things. And I do find often, and we did the exact same thing, Michael, they jump to, okay, I'm going to raise my price. But there's a whole pile of stuff around that that supports your ability to do that price increase. If we think about it, if you were my client, Michael, and you were paying $300 a month, and I, double, triple my prices, and I come to you and I say, Michael, I need to raise your price to 900 a month. What's going to be your reaction?
Mm-hmm. It's like, why?
Right? It's like,
Yeah.
what? Are you kidding me? No way. So it's learning the systems. It's learning, how do you have those conversations? It's learning, how do you build packages and, bookkeeping service offerings that Michael's going to be, oh my gosh, sign me up, take my money. Like, how do you find the right set of services? And also, how do you know who the right client is? Maybe Michael's not the right client for me. Right? So when it comes to pricing, it really starts with figuring out who is your ideal client. Who
Hmm.
is it that you want to work with? And then when you go to design your service offerings, you're always thinking about that person. What are
Hmm.
their challenges? What are their needs? What is keeping them up at night? What is, taking them time and making them exhausted and adding friction for them? So that when you design your services, you are always tying it back to the ideal person who is going to hear that list and go, sign me up, 900, I don't care. You want 1,000? Take my money.
Hmm.
So there's more to it than just raising the price. It's learning how to determine who it is you want to work with. It is about figuring out what that group of businesses need, what they value, designing services that they are going to find valuable, and then learning how to have those conversations. Like, how do I reprice clients? How do I meet with them and have a conversation in a way that the client feels valued, feels that they're getting more value, and are more than happy to pay those higher prices? And I
Hmm.
know the first time I did that whole repricing, I was terrified. I thought we're just going to lose all of our clients. And at that time, we had 30 clients when we joined the Value Price Academy, and we started learning how, systems and how to create it. And I thought we were going to lose them all. I really did. I went into those meetings terrified. But I followed the system that I was given and the words that I was given, and I approached it that way. And of the 30, we lost 4 clients, and those 4 clients were 4 clients we knew we needed to lose.
Hmm.
They were bad clients. They were, we knew they weren't good. But in that time frame, we met with all 30 of our clients, and in I think it was about 6 weeks, we kind of went through that process. We raised our revenue by 45%.
Amazing.
Just just imagine, for those that are listening, look at your monthly revenue now and imagine a 45% increase in 6 weeks. Like,
Yeah.
what would that mean to the business? What opportunities would now be available to you? And what it did for us is it helped us pay for all the things that we were now invested in, right? So pricing is the fastest way to increase your profitability. It really is. But there are systems and processes that help you through that, because you do need to learn how to talk to people about pricing. You need to start believing in your value. And I know back in the beginning, we didn't. We did not believe. But slowly, through coaching and listening and talking to other bookkeepers, we started to believe in ourselves and believe in the value and the quality of bookkeeping and what it can do for a business. And
Hmm.
once you master that, a lot of it gets easier.
Yeah. That beautiful. Yeah. And I saw you over the years just continue to increase those numbers, and they compound on each time.
Mm.
Like, you grow yourself. Oh, we raise our revenue by 45% just through the act of
Mm.
increasing pricing. And also, I'm sure, a few other little things there, but
Yeah.
the bulk of it's 45%. Well, when you increase it 10% next year, or
Mhm.
20%, or 30%, or whatever the percentage is, it's on that whole 45%. So
Yeah.
you're constantly expanding and growing your bottom line.
Yeah. We more than doubled our revenue every year. Some years we tripled our revenue. Like, when I look back and
Remarkable.
it's my favorite report, the P&L by year, and I can look at where we started, and every
Yeah.
year you could see, and I can see when we implemented value pricing. It was like, whoa, that was the year we implemented, and then we could see the exponential growth every year after that by
Wow.
mastering the systems and mastering how to talk to people. And really, another element is having the right clients and learning that you don't have to say yes to all clients, and that all clients are not the right fit for you. And it's absolutely okay to say no to a client. I know in the beginning we were like, any client, you want bookkeeping? We got you. Right. But we learned what is a good client. And we started learning what were those red flags during the sales process that would lead us to go, this is not going to be a good client, and be actually okay with saying to a potential client, I don't think we're the right fit for you. Right. That is a mindset shift, being able to do that. But the more that you can do that, the better quality clients you have, and your profitability goes up dramatically, and you have more fun because you're
Mm.
working with nicer clients. Like I would say, the clients Financially has now are wonderful people. We love working with them. They value us, they appreciate us, and that makes doing the work a lot easier when you have great clients that truly do value you.
It really is. There's the good old saying, sales or revenue, money solves a lot of problems.
Yeah,
Can't
it
solve
does.
them all, but it does solve quite a few.
Yeah,
So,
it does help.
yeah, and it's really important for the industry for this to happen as well. And it's been ticking
Mm,
away, and people like Mark Wickersham and Ron Baker
mm,
have been the leading the charge on this, and yourself as well as other people that work with Mark have been leading the charge with it. And it's like it paves a way for the people coming behind, or the next generation, if you will, of up leveling and having bookkeepers really own their authority, because when you realize that you have an authority over the bookkeeping and the numbers and what happens and what can be made possible because of having that clarity around the numbers and it being done right. It's super valuable. And then that translate back to what you can charge for it
yeah,
as well. And I bring that up because owning your authority is the theme
yeah.
of this year, and our summit that's coming up later this year is Own Your Authority. The summit will be about that. And so if you haven't registered, of course, go get registered for the
Yeah,
summit
which
at the Successful Bookkeeper successfulbookkeeper.com/summit. And I'm sure you'll be a speaker there too, Teresa. I
sure
can
I
almost
will. I'm
guarantee
looking
that's
forward.
another guarantee I can give.
Yep, yeah, I'll probably be there. I can't
Always
imagine
love having you there, and so do our participants. So, big transformations that happened because of this journey in pricing. And
that.
then when you did that, did it change the type of clients that you attracted, and how did that look for your business?
Yes, so it really did start to change, the types of clients that came to us. One thing that happened also as part of that journey is we found our niche and we found our passion and what we loved. And, we specialize in e-commerce. So I overhauled the website, designed a whole new website. So of course it was now attracting e-commerce clients. And which are the kinds of people we wanted to work with, and are the people who were our ideal client that our particular bookkeeping services were perfectly designed for. We did get others come to us, and on occasion, if they fit all of our other parameters, we would take them on. But I would say Financially's 95% e-commerce and 5% a few other things. And because it's not only about the industry and the niche, it's about the kind of person they are.
Mm.
And I think I've probably told people this before. I use a bit of a yardstick when I'm talking to people, and what I'm looking for is dragons. We want dragon clients. And
Mm.
that's from Jenny Moore from More Details. And when I heard it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly the kind of people that we want to work with. And with her blessing, I share it with everyone. We did make a couple of tweaks to it. So when I'm meeting with people, I am looking for dragons. They are delightful, they're respectful, they're adaptable, they're growth oriented, they're online, and they're within our niche, right? So I'm always looking for those types of people. We want to work with nice people. We want to work with people that value us and appreciate us. And if I get on a call with someone and they don't value it and they're just like, well, how much is it? How much is it? How much is it? And they don't actually want to know how we do things or what we can deliver for them, and where they're constantly talking over me, and it's like, yeah, red flags. This is not a dragon. They are not delightful.
Hmm.
Because we also, as you grow, you're building a team, and you have to think, my team has to deal with this person. So
That's
what
right.
kind of a leader am I to bring in a client who's going to be really hard for the team to work with? My team is not going to appreciate me for that, right? So we're
Yeah.
always trying to look for great people who fit into our niche and fit into our alignment. And also, because of the marketing that I do and the speaking engagements, I speak at a lot of conferences about e-commerce. All of that builds that awareness and brings the right clients. And there's a lot of ways that you can attract new clients. Um, I teach a whole session on that. you because there's lots of ways, and there's lots of guidance in pure bookkeeping as well. So you can pick a few of the avenues to find your clients, because I know a lot of bookkeepers struggle to get clients.
Hmm.
And it's really around using those tools and, reaching out to accountants and and connecting with them. It's going and speaking at events. 10 minutes, you get up and talk and share one thing. There's all kinds of ways, social media. There's lots of things that you can do to build awareness, but it does take stepping outside your comfort zone and being brave.
Yeah, absolutely. But that is the key, is to have people be aware of what you can offer, and
Mm,
something has to happen for that to happen, right? People can't just find you magically. There
yeah,
is lots of magical outcomes of just putting a little effort in, and
yeah,
magically people will find you, because the reality is the demand is there. People
yeah.
need help
They need help.
desperately. And there's lots of non-dragons out there that need that help too. And you got to
Yeah.
figure out, okay, because you can get yourself stuck with a whole bunch of non-dragons or dragons that breathe fire. We don't want those.
Yeah, we don't want the mean
No
dragons. We
singed
want
hair, please. Uh, and so getting yourself out there there's so many ways, and they're very simple ways. And if you start with the simple and the low cost ones, those lead to more complex and costly ones that can have, scaling
yeah,
opportunity and all
yeah.
those good things. But you got to start somewhere. And that's
Mm,
I guess a piece we could say is, hey, if clients are what you want, make a commitment to, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to find something
mm,
new and take a
yeah,
new action, because new actions lead to new results.
that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember back when we were starting with the value pricing, Mark offered a session every month called Marketing Mondays, and it really helped us to implement systems and things that helped to bring in leads. Like, one thing he taught us how to do is called a lead generation system. So you have your website, like we all have a nice website, but you actually have a little pop-up that comes up and says, "Hey, would you like my ebook on the 6 things business owners need to know to stay out of trouble with the tax authorities?" Whatever. It could be an ebook, it could be a white paper, it could be a YouTube, it could be whatever you want it to be. But this little pop-up comes up, and then they enter their email address, and you automatically email it to them. You now have their email, and you can add them to your leads and start marketing to them by sending out regular emails, sending out newsletters, just adding value for them. And, hey, here's an update on Canadian sales tax, or are you aware that e-commerce sellers, that the shop app is now a marketplace? Like, giving them value and warming them up so that when they're ready, they start working with you. And once you set it up and have the system running, it just runs, and it can lead to brand new clients for you. So attending those marketing sessions really helped us implement a lot of that. And then I know in Pure, there's a whole section on that as well. Is it seven marketing
Seven
strategies?
by five, seven
Thank you.
strategies to bring 5 new clients.
Yeah.
in the next, basically, you could 7 strategies to bring 5 new clients. Each strategy is really the idea behind it. And it's been tested and tried by thousands of bookkeepers. And it's so interesting because like they've been around. These strategies are not crazy in terms of like, anyone can do them. And they work. And they're super simple. It does take getting out of your comfort zone in some scenarios, just like you've mentioned. But just about every single one of them is free as well. And so that's the thing about marketing and your website. And you just these little things, you just do something little often, and all of a sudden you've got a whole bunch of great things going on all the time. And so that is some good advice from you and some great little strategies to actually go and research these. And whether it's Mark Wickersham's content or right here in the Successful Bookkeeper community, we have some resources there that can help. And so there's lots from you as well in there.
There is.
I will say. So you've done there's a whole free program on deeper investigation into pricing. I would recommend our listeners go spend time with you there as well.
Yeah, sure. One thing I wanted to mention is I hear this a lot from bookkeepers, and it's around confidence. And, they'll say, I don't have the confidence to do that, right? And so they're not taking actions because they don't have the confidence. I would suggest that it's actually the other way around. Taking actions leads to confidence. So I often say, feel the fear and do it anyway. Say, yeah, I'm really freaking out here, but do it anyway, because the actions will build your confidence. And every time you take an action, your confidence will go up. So if I can partake one thing to everybody that's listening, actions come before confidence. It's not the other way around. Feel the fear and do it anyway. You've got this. And I want every single bookkeeper out there to take that one scary step that I know is going to help them build the business of their dreams. They can do it. But action will build your confidence.
So true. So true. It is it's fear. Overcoming fear unlocks the next door to your progression through whatever journey you're on. But we must go through the fear first to get to the door and have the door opened.
Yeah. And fear's okay. You don't have to overcome it. You don't have to solve it. You just have to go, yep, I'm afraid. And I'm going to do it anyway.
Yes.
Right?
Love that.
Accept that it's scary.
I love that.
Yeah.
Teresa, this is always a great opportunity to hear what your thoughts are and get advice from you. As mentioned, lots of resources available in our community of you and other communities. You have links, I'm sure. What's the best way from this conversation and really focused on pricing?
Yeah.
What are some resources that you would recommend right out of the gate here?
Yeah. So there's a few, and I will provide the links, but hop on and follow the Value Price Academy YouTube channel. There's tons of free videos and content there to help you with all kinds of pieces of pricing. And then this past year, Mark created a community on School. It's a really cool platform. It reminds me of a Facebook group, but you don't have to be on Facebook. So it's an app. I have it on my phone, have it on my computer. The community's there. It's a free community. There's free training in there. I'm sure there's probably some courses from me in there. And so they can start out with the free stuff, which is what we did. Start out with the free stuff. And then, of course, there are memberships that, when you're ready and you want to okay, I need to make this happen. They have a community on School that's quite inexpensive that you can join to get access to all the training I do every month and Emily does. And so you get a ton of really good training. So I would say start with the YouTube channel, maybe connect with Mark on LinkedIn, because I think he automatically sends a bunch of free resources every time you connect with him. Take the free stuff, man. Start there. Start implementing it. And I think that's the one other thing that I will say is we have to make the time to implement these things. There is no point in getting a membership and joining a community, or getting into Pure, into the Value Price Academy, if you don't make the time to implement it. So I always say, block the time every week on your calendar. Pick a time that it's generally quiet. For us, it was always Friday afternoons. So what we would do is we would attend the Friday success call, and then we told all of our clients, Financially closes at noon on Fridays. Then Connie and I would spend the afternoon working on the business. You must make the time to implement these things, because then your investment will have paid off tenfold, right? But make the time, force yourself, block it on your calendar and say, this time cannot be taken away. And it is so worth you taking the time to implement these things. It will turn things around, and it will take away that stress, that fear, that, not making any money. We're working crazy hours and not actually getting where you want to be. And I want bookkeepers to get to where we got to, if that's what they want. I mean, we wanted to build a big business. That was our goal. Not everybody wants that. But maybe you want to have a great book of clients. You want to stay as just yourself, but you want less clients, better quality clients, paying you higher fees so that you can build the business of your dreams. The systems are there to help you.
I love it. Thank you so much, Teresa. There's a long list of opportunities for our listener to go after. They're almost all free, and go block it. Go block something in your calendar and go dig into all these links that are in these show notes right here and make it happen.
Yeah, They can do it. I believe in them.
Yes, I do too. And with that, we wrap another episode of the Successful Bookkeeper podcast. To learn more about today's wonderful guest and to get access to all sorts of valuable free business building resources, you can go to thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Until next time, goodbye.
You've been listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with Michael Palmer. For more information and to download the resources mentioned in this episode, please visit us at thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Thank you for listening.